Cheers, my dear friends. I welcome you once again to the dearest place in my heart, Azerbaijan. Traditionally, our episodes start right from the hot pot or the sound of sizzling oil, but today I want to share a bit of my life, my other passion. I'm building a special place where my guests and I can relax and enjoy dinner together. The design is solely based on my imagination, and I hope you'll appreciate it. So, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video. If you want to stay up to date, then tap that bell icon, and we'll always be in touch, enjoying together. You've probably recognized from the design that I'm building a gazebo. I want to create a peaceful retreat where we can enjoy family gatherings and where I can read and rest. But I'm not here to show you how to build the gazebo. I'm here to teach you how to make a real rustic sausage stuffed inside fresh intestines, cooked in our beloved, long-trusted tandoor. Last details, and we can start cooking. Intrigued? I'm just as excited as you are. These intestines are freshly cut. I want to use good quality, so we're going to get the best results. They need a thorough wash to get rid of all impurities and that unpleasant odor. Rustic sausages are usually made with hearty, natural ingredients, often with a coarse texture. So you can see visible chunks of meat, herbs and spices. For this reason, I've decided to use beef liver, heart and some parts of the stomach to bring forward that authentic flavor and a handmade feel. When it comes to authenticity, I think my knives, designed by me, can really bring that genuine feel to your kitchen. We have a wide range of knives suitable for any cooking. Plus, our handcrafted wooden utensils can adorn your kitchen with an artisanal look. First, let's remove that thin layer on the surface of the liver. We don't need it, and it's important to take it off because it can be a bit chewy if you leave it on. I'm going to slice this liver into small cubes to give our sausages a really nice texture. I'll also add green pepper, tomatoes and herbs to bring an extra layer of flavour. And of course, some beef fat will make these sausages softer and creamier, while still retaining that rustic texture. The rest of the liver will be minced to a finer texture to hold together inside the intestines, while the larger parts will pop up. Now, let's chop the heart. I'm chopping it into small cubes, not too thin, just the right size. And here comes the stomach pieces. They have a pale rose colour, similar to the liver. Did you know that beef stomach is not just tasty, but also loaded with nutritional benefits? It's rich in protein and essential nutrients, making it a great addition to our sausages. Plus, it adds a unique flavour and texture that enhances the overall dish. As I mentioned earlier, adding fat really enriches the flavour of these sausages, giving them a much softer, more tender bite. I'm slicing it the same way as before, so that when these sausages cook, the fat melts in and blends beautifully, creating a lovely mosaic of flavours. Alright, now let's bring all these ingredients together in this basin and get started on preparing the vegetables. The vegetables don't just add freshness to the sausages, they also help create a nice contrast with the beef, adding both flavour and colour that really stand out. Oh, and don't forget, we've also got an Instagram page where you can catch cooking shorts and daily insights into wilderness cooking. Make sure to follow us for more behind-the-scenes fun. There are so many ways to make rustic sausages, each with its own unique touch. Some people prefer a mix of pork and beef, while others stick with just beef or lamb for a bolder taste. In some recipes, they'll add breadcrumbs for texture, or even a touch of red wine for that extra depth. Here, I'm going all in with organ meats and vegetables, keeping it traditional yet rich in flavour. I'll crush some rosemary leaves along with peppercorns. This addition gives the sausages a herby aroma and a subtle hint of warmth that balances the richness of the meat. A few crushed garlic cloves will give our sausages that bold, pungent kick. There's nothing like garlic to bring out the flavors in a dish, especially when it's rustic like this. Now, we can't forget the seasonings. A touch of salt and pepper is essential to highlight all these ingredients, and just the right amount will bring everything together beautifully. Alright, now that we've got all our ingredients ready, let's mix it all up. Look at those colours! The vegetables add such brightness, but of course, the real magic is in the taste. Let's preheat the tandoor. Cooking in a tandoor gives the sausages a deep, smoky flavour you just can't get anywhere else. The intense, even heat really seals in the juices, while also giving the sausages a slightly charred, caramelized exterior. It's the secret to that unforgettable taste. Now, I've got this sausage stuffer here, essential for filling the intestines evenly. It's really straightforward to use. I just scoop up the meat and veggie mixture, load it into this metal tube and press down. This way, we get perfectly packed sausages every time. Here we go. See how the filling flows right into the intestines, forming a long sausage? This is how you get that nice, consistent shape. I'm poking little holes in the sausage to let out any trapped air. This way the sausages don't burst while cooking and cook evenly all the way through. Now it's time to place the sausages into the tandoor. Meanwhile, let's take a little break and brew some tea. Let's add some fresh herbs. In Azerbaijan, homemade sausages have a special place in our culinary traditions. Azerbaijani people love making savory dishes from scratch, especially sausages, pickles, and preserves, all part of our love for homemade goodness. I love adding a spoonful of cornel berry jam to my tea. It's got a unique, tangy flavour that complements the tea so well. Cornel berries aren't just for tea, though. They make a delicious jam that's a real favourite of mine.
Dişlerim tökülüyor ya.
The sausages are ready. Time for a taste test. If you're interested in quality kitchen gear, check out my shop. I've got handcrafted knives and wooden kitchen utensils that bring that artisanal touch right into your home. Scan the QR code for more details. These rustic sausages are just bursting with flavour. The rich beef liver, heart and stomach give a deep, earthy taste, while the green peppers add a subtle freshness.
Super.
It's hearty, smoky, and absolutely mouth-watering. Thanks for joining me on yet another cooking adventure. Today, we've created a wonderful batch of rustic sausages. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell icon so we can keep cooking up delicious dishes together. See you next time, my friends.
Kanalımıza dəstək olmaq istəyirsinizsə, onlayn mağazamızdan xüsusi bıçaq və ya taxta qablarımızı əldə edə bilərsiniz. Mağazanın linki videonun altındakı təsvirdə var. Super.
Greetings, my friends and food explorers. I hope you're doing well and ready to start a new wild journey in the heart of an Azerbaijani village, surrounded by these bumpy roads, vast landscapes, and nature that breathes life into me. Here today we are really going wild, with a real man's dish. Excited? Then get ready. Before diving into the details, make sure you've subscribed to Wilderness Cooking and give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. While I'm near the field with mushrooms, I'll pick some. They'll become part of a delicious, nutrient-rich side dish with buckwheat for our main course of beef ribs cooked in the oven. Look at this view. With these small clusters of clouds, the air is so fresh, and these little mist-like clouds hover over the hills near the mountains, creating a beautiful scene. It's mesmerizing and breathtaking. No matter how often I come, I find myself lost in awe. Buckwheat as a side isn't so popular in Western cuisine, where it's more of a healthy dietary addition. But for many people in post-Soviet countries, it's a fantastic ingredient, often a primary dish mixed with vegetables like carrots, onions and mushrooms. I love how these seasonings are arranged neatly on the table. If you want your cooking counter to look the same, just look at the right side of your screen. Yes, go and get what you need to make your workspace shine. You can even get the knives I use for different cooking purposes. Just scan the QR code and see how your cooking experience transforms. I'll be cutting along this thick bone that connects the ribs. This spot isn't quite big enough, and I don't want to risk damaging the counter. Plus, I think any knife wouldn't get through this bone. We could try using a hammer, but that might break the ribs. So, I've decided to use a saw to cut along the ribs smoothly. Now, let's wash these ribs to remove any blood and small bone debris. If you haven't found us on Instagram yet, here's a reminder. Just type Wilderness Cooking and you'll be on a whole new level of connection. Now, let's separate each rib along the line where they're connected. If you look into different ways of cooking beef ribs, you'll find that each cuisine has its own unique approach, perfected over generations. For example, in French cuisine, beef ribs are often braised and then slow cooked in wine or broth for a tender and more flavorful result. In Korean cuisine, short ribs are marinated in soy sauce, garlic, sugar, and sesame oil before being grilled. We Azerbaijani people like to keep it simple, yet incredibly flavorful, often opting for slow roasting in the oven at a low heat for several hours. We end up having a tender meat with a slight crust from the rubs, an ideal balance of textures. Now, I'll whip up a marinade for the ribs. Some garlic, rosemary, black peppercorns and salt. Just a good crush of these ingredients and we're ready. Let's elevate the marinade with some paprika and turmeric, mixing it with olive oil. The blend of spices, rich and aromatic, will infuse the ribs with a warm, earthy flavour that complements the meat beautifully. Alright, let's brush this marinade over the ribs, coating them generously to lock in the flavours.
Videonun altındaki linke keçid eləyərək bizim super game'lərimizi ala bilərsiniz. Super.
Now I'll toss the buckwheat into a large bowl and rinse it thoroughly under water from the well. Rinsing is essential to remove any impurities, ensuring the buckwheat cooks to a fluffy, light texture. Next, let's chop the onions and the rest of the vegetables. We'll give them a quick roast before adding them to the buckwheat, enhancing its flavour with that slight caramelised sweetness. I'll be adding some peppers too. Their mild heat and crisp texture will bring extra depth and a hint of warmth to the dish. Now I'm chopping the tomatoes, which will add a juicy acidity to balance the rich flavours. They'll break down while cooking, releasing their sweet, tangy juices into the mix. Everything's going into the pan now, onions, butter, and the rest of the vegetables. The aroma is incredible, and it's starting to look just as good as it smells. Time for the mushrooms. These will add an earthy, savoury note, blending perfectly with the other vegetables for a hearty, rustic side dish. While the veggies and mushrooms are sizzling away, let me share a quick tip. If you're as passionate about quality tools in the kitchen as I am, you're in luck. I've got a collection of artisan kitchen utensils and perfectly designed knives in my online shop. You know, these aren't just any tools. They're crafted with attention to detail to bring that professional touch to your cooking. So, go ahead and scan the QR code to check them out. Now, let's sprinkle in a bit of turmeric to bring out the colour and earthy flavours in the sautéed veggies. Time to add the buckwheat. It'll need some time to cook, absorbing all these flavours beautifully as it simmers. Just look at this setup. I've got this circular frame with metal rods where I can hang each rib along the edges. It's such a unique way to cook these beef ribs, suspended in the heat to get them roasted perfectly all around. Alright, here we go. The seasoned buckwheat goes into this beautiful wooden bowl, and I'm placing it right in the oven. Now, I'm setting up the flame with the hanging ribs above it, so all those beefy juices will drip down into the buckwheat, infusing it with even more flavour. This rustic setup feels like something out of an old tradition, but it's going to make the whole dish unforgettable. Look at these beauties. Just perfect. The golden brown colour, the aroma, everything is exactly how I imagined it. I'll set the bowl of fragrant buckwheat beside them. They look incredible together, like a feast straight from an ancient story. Ah, there we go. Each tender, juicy slice just drops right onto the warm buckwheat. It's the perfect balance. The savory, succulent meat with that nutty, rich buckwheat. Just looking at it makes me feel completely satisfied already. Oh, wow. This is pure bliss. The tenderness of the beef, with that hint of smokiness, blends perfectly with the earthy flavors of the turmeric-infused buckwheat. It's hearty, warming, and satisfying. The kind of meal that stays with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had as much fun as I did cooking this dish, and I hope it inspires you to try something new in the kitchen. From the flavors of Azerbaijani cuisine to all the spices and textures, it's a pleasure to share these traditions with you. Until next time, take care, cook with heart, and don't forget to subscribe for more.
Kanalımıza dəstək olmaq istəyirsinizsə, onlayn mağazamızdan xüsusi bıçaq və ya taxta qablarımızı əldə edə bilərsiniz. Mağazanın linki videonun altındakı təsvirdə var. Super!
Ever wondered what happens when the sweetness of a pineapple meets the richness of chicken? Right here, in the heart of the village, we're about to create something unforgettable. A dish that's both exotic and comforting, with flavors that bring the tropics to your table. You won't want to miss this. Stick around because this recipe is going to make your taste buds dance. And before we dive into the magic, make sure you've already subscribed to my channel and yes, hit that like button as a small reward for bringing something new and exciting to the table today. The parts of the chicken that I won't need will never go to waste. I'll be giving those to my cats, who are always eager for a treat. Now, when trimming the chicken, be sure to remove any excess fat and those tiny bits of skin that won't crisp up during cooking. While I'm whipping up a marinade for our chickens, why not take a minute and check out my shop? Treat yourself to some quality utensils that will turn your kitchen into a place where the magic of flavors comes alive. Just scan the QR code to explore the collection. For the marinade, I've used tomato paste, corn oil, and some essential seasonings like turmeric, paprika, salt, and pepper. The tomato paste will bring a rich depth of flavor while adding a slight tang, and the corn oil helps to keep the chicken moist as it cooks. I have 5 pineapples in total, and I'll be shaping them in a special way so that they fit perfectly inside the chickens. This isn't just for looks. These pineapples will release their sweet juices as the chickens roast, infusing the meat with a tropical zest that's out of this world. Once they're inside, the chickens will be placed in the tandoor, where the slow, even heat will allow the flavors to meld perfectly. So that's how we're going to do it. These pineapples fit snugly inside, and together with the marinade, they'll create a mouth-watering fusion of sweet and savory. The tandoor will seal in all those juices, and as the chickens roast, the pineapple will caramelize, adding even more layers of flavor to the dish. The chicken will absorb the natural sugars from the fruit while staying juicy and tender. making each bite a perfect balance of sweet and savory. So let's go ahead and preheat the tandoor. We need to get that heat just right, high enough to sear the chicken and lock in all the flavors, but slow enough to ensure the meat stays tender. Corn is the perfect snack, especially when dinner is still in the works. Its natural sweetness and juiciness can satisfy your hunger just enough to keep you going. That's exactly what I'm planning to do for my guests today. As you probably know, they always arrive a bit ahead of time, so we need something to hold them over before the main course is served. Now, let's move on to our delicious and hearty side dish, bulgur. Today, I'm using this versatile grain that's quite popular here in Azerbaijan and widely loved in Middle Eastern and Mediterranean cuisines. Did you know that bulgur is actually parboiled before being cracked into smaller pieces? This makes it cook much faster than whole wheat kernels, making it a quick and convenient choice without sacrificing any of that rich, nutty flavor. It's the perfect complement to our chicken. While I'm busy with the side dish, why not open up your Instagram and find my page? Go ahead, click follow, and get ready for a steady stream of exciting content that'll make you want to cook more. Now that the onions have softened and developed that wonderful golden color, it's time to pour some water and toss in the bulgur. We'll let it soak up all those flavors and cook until it's nice and fluffy. Let's prepare our chicken for the final step. Time to get it ready for cooking. The marinade has done its magic, and now it's time for the heat to finish the job. The bulgur is ready, but to make it even more flavorful, I'm going to place it in the tandoor for another round. This will give it that extra smokiness, tying everything together beautifully.
Maşallah, maşallah. Kişiler ya bunlar.
Okay, kids, here are your snacks. But be careful, they're still quite hot. Take your time and let them cool down a bit before you dig in. And remember, it's always worth the wait. Now, let's place the bulgur and chicken inside the tandoor to finish off the cooking process. While we wait, we'll make a quick salad to keep things fresh and light. It'll pair beautifully with the red chicken and bulgur. I'm going to add some pineapple to the salad as well. The sweetness will complement these savory dishes, and the freshness of the pineapple will elevate the salad, making it the perfect balance of flavors for the meal. Let's give the chickens a little bit more time in the tandoor. They're almost there, and we want that skin to get extra crispy while the meat stays juicy. Now, let's enjoy a peaceful moment with some lavender tea. There's something magical about sipping tea while the kids play near the pond. The calming scent of lavender blending with the soft breeze. All right, I think it's time to set the table for dinner. Everything's coming together perfectly, and soon we'll have a meal to remember. The chicken is done, and just look at those pineapples inside. They're beautifully caramelized, their sweet aroma filling the air. The golden, crispy skin of the chicken contrasts with the juicy tenderness inside, and the bulgur, which has absorbed all those rich juices, smells incredible. He's serving the chicken now, laying it on top of the bulgur, while the salad adds a fresh, vibrant touch to the plate. As I take the first bite of the chicken, the satisfaction on my face says it all. This flavor is unbelievable. The crispy skin, the tender, juicy meat, and the sweet burst of pineapple all merge into one extraordinary mouthful. The children are finally seated at the table, looking a bit surprised but excited. They probably didn't expect something tropical like this. But that's what makes meals special, always surprising our guests and creating memories through food. And now that we're done with the meal, the kids are ready for some pure, refreshing water. Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit the bell icon to stay updated.
Kanalımıza destek olmak istiyorsanız onlayn mağazamızdan xüsusi bıçaq və ya taxta qablarımızı əldə edə bilərsiniz. Mağazanın linki videonun altındakı təsvirdə var. Super.
Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time for another delicious adventure. Dear friends and fellow food enthusiasts, over the years, I've introduced you to traditional dishes from Azerbaijan and cuisines from around the globe. But today, we're diving into something trendy and wildly popular. Chicken chupa chups. Are you excited? Because I sure am. Let's dive into this fun recipe together. First, we'll start by peeling off the skin from the chicken legs. A quick break from today's video. I've got something special for you. If you're loving what we do here, why not take a piece with you? Check out our wilderness cooking merch. We've got t-shirts and hoodies, all designed with comfort and style. Check out our shop and be happy. Alright, now let's boil these chicken legs. Once they're ready, we'll shred the meat and mix it with mashed potatoes and grated cheese. This combination creates a creamy, fluffy and meaty texture that's absolutely irresistible. Imagine the mixture melting in your mouth, spreading its rich, cheesy flavors with every bite. I like to add bay leaves, peppercorns and salt to the boiling water for that extra depth of flavor. While peeling the potatoes, let's talk about why this recipe is so trendy. The mashed potatoes provide a soft, pillowy base that perfectly balances the shredded chicken's meaty texture. This contrast is what makes chicken chupa chups such a delight. It's a comfort food taken to the next level. If you're loving this recipe so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this episode. Once the chicken legs are cooked, it's time to boil the potatoes. Meanwhile, let's shred the tender chicken meat. It's the foundation of our recipe's amazing flavor. One of the reasons this dish is so special is the unique texture. The shredded chicken provides a satisfying bite, while the mashed potatoes deliver a silky smoothness. Together, they're the perfect pairing. The potatoes are ready for a little beating, or should I say mashing. Don't worry, no potatoes were harmed in the making of this recipe. Well, maybe just a little. Now, let's add some grated cheese to the mix, all with the shredded chicken and mashed potatoes. The cheese will make the texture even creamier and add a subtle savoury flavour. Next, we're taking some fresh tomatoes, making shallow cuts on their skin and placing them in hot water. This quick trick softens the skin, making it super easy to peel off. These peeled tomatoes are destined for a flavourful sauce. I'll dice them up and sauté them with onions in a pan. The natural sweetness of the tomatoes blends beautifully with the caramelised onions, creating a rich and vibrant sauce that will elevate the dish. Now let's chop some dill for that herbaceous kick and sprinkle in some paprika and turmeric. These spices not only add vibrant colour, but also enhance the flavour with the smoky, earthy undertones. Mixing everything together, chicken, potatoes, cheese, dill and spices, creates a filling, bursting with flavour and texture. Now here comes the fun part, shaping the chupa chups. We'll take small portions of the mixture, form them into balls, and mould them around the chicken bones to recreate the look of chicken legs. It's such a fun and creative twist. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join us for more unique recipes. Now for that perfect crispy coating. We'll start by dipping each chicken chupa chup in beaten eggs, ensuring every bit is covered. Then we coat them with breadcrumbs for that initial crunch. But here's the secret to perfection. We repeat the process. Egg, breadcrumbs, egg, breadcrumbs. The double coating creates a thick, golden crust that's irresistibly crunchy once fried. Trust me, you're going to love the result. Stick around for the final masterpiece. It's going to be worth every second. The moulding is done, and now it's time to fry these beauties in hot oil. Remember, we don't need to keep them in the oil for too long. The ingredients are already cooked, so we're just aiming for that golden crispy crust that seals in all the creamy, savoury goodness. These few days before New Year's Eve always puts me in a festive mood. There's something magical about the season. Children eagerly awaiting their presents, families coming together. As a child, I shared that excitement, and now, as an adult, I love passing on that joy to the little ones. It's a beautiful cycle of happiness. I should have told the kids not to overindulge in sweets, because there's something far more interesting and delicious waiting for them. Let's take a bite. The moment of truth. Oh my. I knew it would be good, but this... 3 words. Crunchy, soft, creamy. Absolute perfection. Now, let's dip it in the sauce. Oh wow, this takes it to another level. Too good for words. Honestly, I could finish the whole batch in one sitting. But I have to leave some for the kids, right?
Super.
Hücum.
A cold winter evening, the streets dimly lit except for the glow of fairy lights. My guests are seated, savouring the food and the warm atmosphere. What more could I ask for? Thank you, my friends, for sharing these little moments of joy with me and making them part of your own celebrations. I hope you loved this episode and are ready for the winter holidays. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you soon. Happy holidays.
Kanalımıza dəstək olmaq istəyirsinizsə, onlayn mağazamızdan xüsusi bıçaq və ya taxta qablarımızı əldə edə bilərsiniz. Mağazanın linki videonun altındakı təsvirdə var. Super.
Welcome back, everyone. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Recently, we've explored some exciting out-there recipes. But today, I'm keeping it simple yet incredibly tasty. Something you can try at home with ease. Stick with me and watch the magic unfold. Now, before we start, let's focus on the basics, our tools. A quality knife can elevate your cooking game, making each cut smoother and each dish even better. I've got some excellent knives and wooden utensils in my shop. So scan the QR code on the screen to check them out. Grab whatever catches your eye. You won't regret it. Alright, let's dive into prepping these ducks. First things first, I'm parting the meat from the bones. I start by slicing along the breastbone, making sure the knife glides close to the bone to release each cut cleanly. Then I work my way around the legs and thighs, carefully following the natural seams to keep the meat intact. Duck meat has such a unique, rich flavour, much deeper than chicken or turkey, making it a prized ingredient in many dishes. It's perfect for recipes that need a bit of luxurious depth. And hey, while you're here, don't forget to subscribe so you stay up to date with all our latest recipes. Like the video if you're already enjoying the process. To get that perfect flat shape for even cooking, I'm taking the bones out completely. This not only lets the duck cook more evenly, but also helps it soak up the seasonings better, giving us maximum flavor in every bite. When the first duck is done, I'll go ahead and do the same for the second one. We want both ducks prepped and ready. By the way, what's your favourite poultry to cook with? Any dishes you swear by that always outshine the rest? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. Adding some water here, which I'll use later to keep the duck tender and juicy. This step is key to keeping our meat from drying out while cooking. Time to season the water. I'm going in with cinnamon sticks, star anise, black pepper, a touch of salt and red paprika. These ingredients will add a warm, aromatic depth to our duck, infusing the meat with subtle layers of flavor. Now for a little creativity. I'm putting together a custom grilling base by bending some metal wires into a circular frame. This will go inside the duck, helping it hold its shape perfectly as it cooks. It's a bit of an unorthodox method, but this trick helps the meat cook more evenly and keeps everything tender. With the circular frame in place, the duck will hold its shape beautifully, ensuring even cooking all around. Look at that. The frame fits perfectly, giving us exactly the structure we need. Next, I'm pouring hot water over the duck. This is going to lighten the skin, prepping it for that nice crispiness when it cooks. After that, it's time to hang it up to dry a bit before we move to the next step. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. You'll get all sorts of behind-the-scenes content, tips, and culinary inspiration. Here I am, off to feed my ducks. It's funny how the roles can reverse. 1 minute I'm preparing duck for dinner, and the next I'm serving them a snack. Look at their fluffy bodies bobbing in the water. They're floating briskly, quacking in delight as they spot me. Now let's get down to business and whip up the sauce that will elevate our ducks to the next level. I'll be using soy sauce for that rich umami flavor, along with a touch of sugar and honey for sweetness, and of course fresh lemon juice to balance everything out. But first I'll boil these ingredients together to meld the flavors before adding the lemon juice. This way it becomes a warm, thick glaze that will cling beautifully to the duck. With the sauce ready, it's time to give these ducks a proper coat. I pull them out of their resting place and use a brush to slather on that delicious glossy sauce. The warmth from the sauce begins to awaken the flavors of the meat, and you can see it glistening under the light. This is going to be a showstopper. Finally, I'm ready to get these beauties cooking. Instead of laying them flat, I'm going to hang them inside the oven. This technique allows the heat to circulate all around, ensuring an even cook and helping to crisp up the skin. As I secure them in place, I can already imagine that savory aroma filling the kitchen. Phew, the heavy lifting is done. And now it's time for a well-deserved tea break. Cooking is a journey, and I love to take little pauses along the way to enjoy a soothing cup of tea. It's one of my favorite rituals. By the way, if you're looking to up your cooking game just like I am, don't forget to check out my online shop. I've curated a selection of high-quality knives that I personally use and recommend. They make all the difference in the kitchen, whether you're chopping herbs or carving meat. Scan the QR code on the screen now to explore my collection. Trust me, investing in a good knife is like giving your cooking an instant upgrade. Now, while the ducks are in the oven, let's infuse some flavour into our tea. I'm adding a mix of lovely herbs and flowers, like chamomile and hibiscus, to create a fragrant and calming brew. Once these ducks have been baking to perfection, I'm going to give them a quick roast by drizzling some corn oil over the top. Why do I do this? Well, pouring oil helps to achieve that beautifully crisp skin we all love, a must for any roasted dish. Ah, tea time. The smell wafting through the kitchen is simply wonderful. It's the perfect way to enjoy a break while I wait for those ducks to finish roasting. And what would a proper Azerbaijani tea be without some traditional sweets? I've got a lovely sweet treat, a fruit jam. A must-have any time I have a tea break. Look at this fella, who's been watching the whole process with curious eyes. Hey, take some, you too. After all, it's nice to have company. The ducks are ready for the next step. I pull them out of the oven, and as I pour hot oil over the surface, you can see how the skin sizzles. The sound is so satisfying, and the aroma is absolutely mouth-watering. The skin is now perfectly crisp, and that golden brown colour is just stunning. Now it's time for the grand reveal. Let's carefully remove the metal bar, which has done its job beautifully. As I slice the ducks into smaller pieces, you can see that juicy, tender meat inside. That golden skin is so appetizing that I can't wait to dig in. Finally, the moment of truth. I can already see the glistening juices. Well, the first bite is pure bliss. The skin is perfectly crisp, and as I sink my teeth into the tender meat, it melts in my mouth. The flavour is rich and savoury with a delightful hint of sweetness from the glaze. I can taste the spices we infused earlier, and everything works together harmoniously. This is a dish that truly hits the spot. I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this culinary adventure. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and click the bell icon so you never miss out on my latest recipes and cooking tips. Thanks for joining me today in the kitchen. It was a pleasure sharing this delicious duck recipe with you. Until next time, keep cooking, keep experimenting, and most importantly, enjoy every bite. See you soon.
Kanalımıza dəstək olmaq istəyirsinizsə, onlayn mağazamızdan xüsusi bıçaq və ya taxta qablarımızı əldə edə bilərsiniz. Mağazanın linki videonun altındakı təsvirdə var. Super!